TableTop Weekly, and we are the partners of Solarian Games.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Peter.
All right.
And this week, we were supposed to have a guest.
Oh, that's my cue. Yeah. So sorry.
Wait a minute.
What's going on? We getting some lag here, Peter. Do we want to restart this?
Hold on.
We're getting pretty bad lag.
The second I start the show, I get lag. What the fuck is going on?
All right, let's stop the show. We'll be right back, everybody. Technical problems.
All right. Oh, if I stop the show, then we got to start we have to have a new link and everything. Hold on.
Do what you need to do.
Oh, fuck. I'm trying. I don't know what the hell. Everything was running great just a second ago. What is going on?
Good. I was just checking my mute.
All right. All of a sudden, it just tanked. All right. I guess we'll have to edit this at some point. Can you hear me okay? Are you okay? Are we good? I can't hear you now. Mute. You're mute.
Yep, I was on mute. Hold on. I've got this open in another window, so it's playing twice, and that is bad news. All
right.
Okay.
Well, whatever. I fixed it on my end.
Good job. All right. Let's pretend this is the beginning.
I don't even know why it happened. All right. This is TableTop Weekly, and we are the partners of Solarian Games.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Peter.
And Mike in the chat, we want to apologize to you because we are missing the guest that we were expected to have this week. Kai got sick. He's going to be on next week. So we're going to be talking about the new alternative to tabletop events next week. But Peter has a lot of good news stories for us for this week.
Yeah. So I picked up... I had to shut that down. All right. So we're going to talk about our Tradecraft Manual that's coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about Operation Backfill. 2 virtual tabletop games go free to play. Twilight Sword update. We talked about it before. There was an update to it. And then this is interesting. There are 2, I guess our title is, there are 2 nerd treasures on the block at Christie's of all places. Mm-hmm. And we're going to wrap it up with a book. There was a review on how to dungeon master as a parent.
All right. Well, let's jump into the first story, which is we have a new, I guess this is our first official expansion for Top Secret. And this is the Tradecraft Manual. So as you can see in the graphic there, this is going to be launching on Kickstarter December 9th. Scott Kongable has been working on this for a very long time. And for anybody who doesn't know, but you probably do by now if you follow Top Secret, Scott Kongable is I would say the premier GM, the premier administrator for Top Secret. Would you agree with that assessment?
I absolutely would. Not even a question.
Yeah. So the thing is, Scott has definitely played more games of Top Secret New World Order than anyone else on Earth. I can guarantee that. Unless there's somebody hiding out there who's not telling us. Scott has been running his campaign now for about 5 or 6 years, running it a couple of times a week, actually 2 campaigns. So that's literally hundreds of games. And what that's really done is it's given us some of the best playtesting and the best ideas about some things that we need to do to move Top Secret forward.
Yeah.
So a while back, Scott had the idea to expand on the tradecraft in the book. Anybody who plays Top Secret will know that tradecraft is pretty much the heart and soul of the game. Tradecraft is spycraft. It's what your character is trained to do, all the different skills that they have. And in the core rulebook, the one that you get in the box set, or you can buy as a hardcover, or you can get it as a PDF, all of the different tradecraft are explained, but they're explained with like a paragraph each. Kind of the idea was, this is the overview of what everything is. As a gamer, you can, if you need to know more about lock picking, go kind of learn on your own, that sort of thing. What we really wanted to do was expand on this a lot more, so that players who really want to understand what they can do, like what is cratology, for example, what does that really mean? Or when we talk about asset handling, how do we get into that? Scott has gone through, and first of all, just the very first, there's a bunch of things in this book, but the first thing he's done is to go in and take all the tradecraft that already exist and expand on those. So what that means when we say expand on those is to do a few things. So they're all in a similar format. I'm going to look at I'm reading the book right now, which you can't see because it's still a secret. But for example, I'm looking at analysis. I'm looking at cratology, and I think that's the image that we have on the screen. In this one, it starts out with a scene. So in this case, Agent Laska crouched in the bushes, watching the men carry the plastic cases into the storeroom. His asset told him these cases were critical to his target's plans. He counted the men carry a total of 16 cases into the building. His SIGINT-based perception check revealed a small medical symbol on the end of one of the cases. So, and then it goes into explaining, well, what is this? So cratology, for example, is the science of assessing the possible contents of crates and boxes and other things. And there's all these different clues you can use. The size, the shape, the weight. Are there oil stains on it? Are the markings showing where it's been shipped? Do they give you any clues? All that kind of stuff that you train to do. So it explains what that is. But then it gives you a lot more. So it says, well, here's how you roll for that. So here's the skills you would use. I'm sorry, the attributes that you would use for this. Here's how to think about the different levels of difficulty. So if you only can see the size and the shape, or if you can see the markings, or if you can use some special equipment, what would that equipment be? And then goes into so a little bit more about it at the end of it. It kind of goes in and gives another part of the story. In this case, how Agent Laska does the cratology check and how he realizes what might be in there. So all of the different tradecraft have these kind of stories in for them. So that's the first part, is just that they're all expanded upon. There's tables showing you how to use them, how to do the difficulty, all those kind of things. But wait, there's more. So also there are some new tradecraft that are being introduced, as Scott's been playing all these years, and as all the rest of us have too. We've all kind of discovered certain things that people want to do that maybe there wasn't a clear tradecraft for. And so, I mentioned that Scott has done hundreds of campaign games, and then you and I and a lot of other people have run lots of convention games and campaign games too. And so we've taken the things that we learned from the convention games, what happens when somebody's new and, doesn't really know what's going on. And we've taken what we've learned from the campaign games and put these together to say, what new things do we need? So there's some new tradecraft that have been added from Scott's side, including things like the ability to pilot watercraft and to do chases. I've added in a thing here called makeshift engineering, which is basically MacGyvering stuff. A lot of stuff like that's been added. And then also we've expanded on the rules themselves. So Scott started by bringing in new ways to do chase rules. And we've made the chase rules a lot faster, a lot simpler. We have some alternate approaches to things, like how to do your initiative without having to roll, how to handle the action points faster, all that kind of stuff. I think the way I would summarize this is that this book, in addition to having all the explanations of the tradecraft and some new tradecraft, it now starts to clean up a few of the rules that we found needed that from the first book. And I would call this the first step towards the new edition of Top Secret. So the Top Secret that you can buy right now, we're going to stay totally backwards compatible. If you have the box set, it's going to be completely evergreen. So buying the box set right now is a good idea. And by the way, it's on sale on Amazon for like 40% off.
Yeah, it's good price.
Yeah, really cheap, $29.99. That's not going to last. We're going to put it back up because we want money, please. But for right now, we'll do it cheap. But basically, so Top Secret New World Order is technically the fourth edition of Top Secret. There was 2 versions of the first Top Secret by Merle Rasmussen, and then the third one was Top Secret SI, and then this would be the fourth, although we don't, call it by numbers of editions. So with the next book that we bring out after this, you'll notice on the cover of this book, it doesn't say Top Secret New World Order anymore. It just says Top Secret. We're going to simplify. We're going to stick with Top Secret. Inside the book, you will see it say like Top Secret 5 to indicate that it's the 5th edition of the rule set. But everything here is going to be completely compatible with Top Secret NWO. And when we end up doing maybe a new hardcover for the rules and call it Top Secret 5 on the inside, this is kind of the first step towards that.
Yeah.
So
fun. I mean, basically, you put a lot of time into making something, you put it out into the world, and then of course the rubber hits the road and you go, oh, I missed this, or I didn't explain this well enough, or hey, that's a good idea, let's throw that in there. That's what this is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just really cleaning up a lot of the things. It's not at the level of like, when Wizards came out with whatever 5.5 or whatever they're calling their game right now, which is really pretty major changes to D&D. We're not doing that level of changes, and we're certainly not doing a new edition in the sense of, you have to learn new rules. We're sticking with the same rules. We're just cleaning up some of the stuff that we thought this one was a little too complicated. This could go faster. This could be explained better, all that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, as you can see, it launches December 9th. You can go to the Kickstarter page right now and say, hey, remind me. That would be cool. Let us know, how many people are interested.
Please. Just go to Kickstarter. If you search for Tradecraft Manual, it'll come right up. It's the first thing that comes up. So I think the only thing that comes up, nobody else is making a Tradecraft Manual. So please.
And it's going to be a quick one too, right? Like 10
we're
days
gonna
or something like
10 days. Yeah, we're launching December 9th. It's only going to run for 10 days. We figure people either want it or they don't. So they're going to get in. They're going to either back it on the first day or they're going to back it on the last day. Kickstarters, if you run them for a month, people don't back them halfway through. That's not what happens.
Yeah, it's a matter of, and this one's a very specific book. I mean, if you're going to back this one, you're going to be playing Top Secret, or you intend to. And we will also add in all the backer kit stuff where you can buy extra stuff as part of the Kickstarter. And
we're going to, if somebody's a first-time gamer or first-time player of Top Secret, we will put stuff in the add-ons so that you can get a discount on the core set and some of the games and everything, because we want people to be able to get it all at a good deal. So we'll put, if you back this, there will be discounts for the core set and stuff like that. But like we mentioned, if you want a discount on the core set, go to Amazon right now and just search for Top Secret New World Order, because it's $29.99 on Amazon. So
yeah, can't beat that. Hey, speaking of Scott Kongable, why is this slide? Oh, Jesus Christ.
You had a slide and it didn't come up when you said it. That's all right.
All right.
Speaking of Scott Kongable,
I'm going to reload it. How about that?
All right. I'm going to mention that we have the Tradecraft Manual also kind of introduces a new look for Top Secret. So we'll be going for this red look and all of the cool new fresh artwork on it. So that watch for that to be happening on future books as well. I'm kind of excited about it. Do you have Scott's picture up that you wanted yet?
It's coming. It'll be just a second.
Okay.
I don't know. This thing glitched when we hit the start button. So whatever. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next. There we go. Look at that. It's working.
Oh, yes. All right. Here's a cool story.
Yeah. So Operation Backfill is Scott's newest mission that he put out. I'll read you the blurb. It says an Icon surveillance team tasked with watching the Vitek crime family in Prague has disappeared. The agents need to discover what happened to the surveillance team and determine if the unidentified woman who just appeared on the scene has anything to do with their disappearance. Really good blurb there. And, I had to check with Scott because when I went and looked it up on drive-through, it said 283 pages. And I just wanted to confirm. And he said, yes, it's 280. This is a 283-page mission. So this is beefy.
If you buy the PDF, no big deal. But if you get a print on, I don't know if Scott makes these print on demand available or not.
I don't think so, not yet, but I think he's working on it.
That would be a chunky print on demand.
That would. But as you can see around the edges are his other ones. And these have all been within the last, what is it, Jason, year and a half?
Yeah.
Year?
And I should say, so these are not Solarian products. I don't want anyone to think that we're just promoting more of our own stuff here. This is all stuff that Scott makes. It's technically third-party products for Top Secret. We think he's a great designer, great writer. They're all his. So just wanted to make that clear. I don't know if we would try to put out a 283-page mission ourselves.
No. I mean, the only thing that's ours, and it's not even ours because you do it for me, is the covers. Like you do.
Well, sure. I mean, I do the covers because it's fun to do.
Yeah. But these are all Scott. I mean, he's got a bunch. He's been very prolific. So anybody who may be watching this for the, Top Secret. Yeah, I heard of that, but I heard, it was a little bit of a delay in putting stuff. Yeah, we did have a little bit of a slow period, but that is over. There's no more slow period. Stuff is coming out for Top Secret all the time now. So between us and Scott, and it's been really good. So I would say go check this out. It looks good. This
is a good segue, though. I want to mention a couple of things that are in here. So Scott has some rules that he's put into here. Now, of course, this being a third-party product, these are not canon. These rules are not official Top Secret rules, but they're good rules that you can play with. So he mentions that there's additional details for street delivery and deception, as well as Scott's streamlined car chase rules. So, and of course, the minion system that you designed.
Yeah. Is that going in the Tradecraft book as well, or no?
I would like to get that in there. So we'll see if we can get it. The Tradecraft book is very big too, because right now we're just finishing up the layout. It's looking like over 300 pages at this point. We've got to keep it affordable. So
Jesus,
the minions may go in later.
Right. Or you could just back our Patreon and go pick up the minion rules right now.
Yeah.
There's that.
So yeah, let's be clear. So we do put out a lot of the stuff that's in the Tradecraft book. People have seen beta versions of it in the Patreon. And so it's getting play tested, really good stuff. But like we said, until it's in a printed book that we sell on the site and say this is a Top Secret product, they're still officially considered alternate rules.
Yeah. I mean, for example, the minion rules, they haven't been play tested enough. I mean, I'm not like, am I personally confident that they're good? I am, but I would not bet money on it because I haven't run them through the paces yet.
Yeah, so we'll probably leave them out of this book just so that we can play test them more.
Okay,
so the minions, because the minions are the ability to do a little bit more cinematic stuff when you've got a bunch of baddies and they're all coming at you and you don't want to sit there and do individual combat for 20 baddies against you. You can just use the minion rules and work it out more like a movie scene.
Yeah.
But in other things, like for example, the car chase rules that you can get in this module are not necessarily the final ones that are going there. We're still making a couple of changes to that. So, we'll see. But the point is, these are some great third-party things. You'll see on the cover there down in the bottom right, there's you can see the Top Secret logo. We give that logo to third-party publishers who are making something that we have said, yes, this is compatible with Top Secret. So that basically, if you can't see what it says, but it basically says officially licensed product for Top Secret. To be clear, if you're a game designer and you want to make something that works with Top Secret, you do not have to get that. You don't have to be officially licensed. we are never going to come after you because you made something that you said was compatible with Top Secret.
Right.
But we will come after you if you say that it is published officially, licensed Top Secret, and you didn't talk to us first.
Right.
Then we'll be like, hang on, you can't just use our stuff, our logo, without asking us. But
Right.
all we check for is this compatible with Top Secret? If it's compatible, then we'll give you the licensing thing. We don't have anything to say about the content. Don't come to us if you don't like what something says. We don't check that stuff. We just check compatibility.
Right. We're not babysitting people or
No.
overwatching.
We're not here to censor anybody or do any of that, because the moment you get into that, you're responsible for other people's stuff, and nobody needs that.
Yeah.
But that's not to say if there's anything you wouldn't like. Scott's stuff is awesome. I'm not saying anything about that. Scott's stuff is awesome. They're really fun adventures. I've played through some of them at conventions with Scott. They're all worth picking up. So go to DriveThruRPG and check out the latest. And you can see all the others on the screen as well. So there's a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. And he's keeping them coming. He's got another one in the works right now.
Well, he said his goal was to do what? One a month?
Something, or one a month or one every 2 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Scott's in the room. He'll tell us and we'll get back to you.
All right.
But until then, hey Jason, what's this?
Well, we have got some news about virtual tabletops. There are 2 of the biggies that are going free to play. Now, I'm going to just full disclosure, I don't use a virtual tabletop in my own gaming right now. So I'm going to be saying stuff that is ignorant because I'm just ignorant. But I do know that Fantasy Grounds is one of the most beautiful and powerful ones that's out there, something that people love. Up until now, Fantasy Grounds was you had to buy it, one-time fee, $50, and you get Fantasy Grounds. And I believe everybody who was playing had to spend $50 to buy Fantasy Grounds. So if you're the GM and you've got 5 players, they all have to go out and spend that money. So I think that was a barrier for people,
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to do that. So they have switched to a freemium model, I think is the right way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you want to use Fantasy Grounds, it's free. Just go $0, start using it, no problem. If you want a bunch of extra goodies, then it's $8 a month, which is not bad. And you get a bunch of extra things. Let's see if I can read this here. You get a discount in the marketplace, voting on features, perks and rewards, early access, dev chats. Honestly, nothing I would want. All I want to do is play the game, so it's fine.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And then there's another company that makes another one called Alchemy RPG. And in their case, they had a annual membership. So if you thought $50 was a lot to pay one time for Fantasy Grounds, Alchemy was $88 a year. So huge amounts of money. And they have gone again to, you know what? I was looking at the wrong, I don't know what Fantasy Grounds gives you for $8 a month. I was looking at the Alchemy one. Fantasy Grounds is free to play. You can use it for free. They have a freemium model. I don't know what you get for their freemium model.
Right.
But Alchemy, they're the ones that had $88 a year for the unlimited membership. And they're the ones that are saying you can now go to free, or you can go $8 a month and get those things that I just mentioned, which again, I don't know why you would want.
Half of that stuff, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for that. So it's good news if you want to use a VTT. I actually do. I want to start using a VTT so that I can run games online that people who are into that sort of thing will want to join. But I don't know what the right one is to use yet. I haven't even explored.
Right. Because there's also Roll20, which is the big kahuna. But
yeah,
I don't know. It seems a little complex for me, like more than I would want to put into it.
I get the feeling that these others are even more complex. They're probably not easier or better. What's been keeping me away from a VTT is that I don't play tabletop games so that I can fart around with a computer all day.
Right.
I already fart around with a computer all day. I want a respite from that. I want to have something analog with paper and dice. But if we want to be running games online and having people trying out Top Secret and stuff, yeah, I get the reason to have one of these things. So, we'll see which ones are the easiest to use. I think Roll20 is very hard to use. I've tried it a few times. Their UX is poor, but people who are motivated learn to use it. And then once you learn something, then you're like, hey, it's easy. I learned it.
Right. And it might be one of those things. One of the things I have. It's easy if you have someone to show you, but devastatingly hard if you don't.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm probably a little biased against Roll20, to be honest, because early on, before they launched, when Roll20 first went on, I don't know if they did a Kickstarter or what. Yeah, there was a Kickstarter.
Okay.
So they did a Kickstarter. Nobody had seen it yet. Nobody knew what it was. And I don't think anybody had ever used, there probably were some virtual tabletops, but nobody I knew had ever used a virtual tabletop. So for whatever reason, I happened to see it go live on Kickstarter like the moment it did. And I was the first backer. And I backed him with I gave him $500.
Holy shit. Okay.
I said, because, I was like, this is a cool new thing. And I wanted it to be an opportunity for us to partner with them and, maybe have a chance to do some really cool stuff. And so they said, okay, great. We're going to be officially sponsored by the company we used to be before Solarian.
Right.
And okay, cool. Neato. Everything was really great. And then I used it when they had it. And I was like, I'm a UX designer and I can see some stuff that could be better. And I sent one of the founders a message and I was like, hey, this is great, but I'd love to give you some UX feedback. And I think he got really offended. I was like, your site's not that easy to use. Can I help you make it easier to use? He's like, I'm very smart and you can't tell me nothing. Okay, fine. And then when I did try to use it, no, it was a real pain in the butt. And so I was just like, whatever. And, eventually they used to have our logo on their front page whenever you went to use it. They dropped that years ago.
Right.
And so I just was kind of like, well, listen, you guys, if you don't want any feedback on your stuff, and they're probably like, hey, we're making money off of this and you're not, so shut up. So fine by me, but I'm not super inclined to, be really positive towards this, what I think is a poorly designed piece of software that's popular because a lot of people started using it when they had no other choice.
Yeah.
It's the network effect. Once you start using it, you'll put up with a lot because your friends are on there.
Right.
So I would like to see if any of these others are easier, if they're better. Yeah, I'd like to try them out.
Well, they're free now. So, but the problem with that is time isn't free. So it's like, I got to find the time to do it. Like, I don't have to pay for it, but goddamn.
I've got so many other things I'm trying to make time for. That's not at the top of my list.
Yeah, I know. All right. Anyway, so 2 free ones. Check it out. Let's talk about Twilight Sword.
Yeah.
Now we talked about Twilight Sword a couple, I don't know how many episodes ago.
Did we?
A bunch of episodes ago. Yeah, we did. Right. We mentioned it.
I believe
it was in the very early stages. It's now in backer kit and got to see a little more of what's going on with it. And I'm very impressed. I mean, this isn't my style, right? I'm not really an anime guy.
If you're listening, what we're seeing on the screen now is a very anime looking couple of young anime girls with swords and a furry with a sword, or not a furry, a little creature.
Yes.
I don't know, but it's beautiful. Not my style either, but it's beautiful.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not my style, but it's really pretty. It looks like it's put together very well. And so I wanted to follow up on it just because we talked about it before. And it's by Two Little Mice and Freely Publishing, which are both fantastic. So I got to imagine it's going to be a good game no matter what. I mean, if those two are working on it, my money's in on them.
Yeah.
It says, it's heavily inspired by Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy. And one of the things they were saying was that, as popular as Final Fantasy is, and I mean, that is an unbelievably popular franchise. No role-playing game for it, which to me is kind of weird because you would think that, that would be a prime one for someone to make a role-playing game for.
Absolutely.
But this is basically the love child of that. And so the players are heroes or champions trying to free the world of Radia from despair and bring back hope. So
the world of Radia.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Sure.
So here's the picture that you can't see this if you're listening to it, but if you're watching, the picture shows two images, and the one on the left of the screen is there's a guy swinging an axe, and it's got these little symbols: blade, magic, wild, song, shadows,
and
light.
light.
And that is that ties into the archetype of how you do things like that. There's the I forget what the term they used for it was, but it was basically, how do you approach problems in the world? How do you solve them? Do you use the blade? Do you magic, wild?
Yeah.
So that colors your character in their actions and their abilities. And then of course the kin are the races that you can play. So Huma, which I'm assuming is human, right?
Yes, very clever. Huma,
right. Yeah. And then there's the cat lake, and then a demon-y looking thing.
Luna, which, well, it could be a demon, or it could just be somebody on the beach who's been out for too long.
Right. Well, but they got a horn, and they could be wearing that.
Yeah.
And then there's Orko, from He-Man.
Right. Wow, that is exactly him. How'd they get away with that?
I don't know.
Yeah. So this thing is called the Strix. They literally are the guy from He-Man. I mean, that's just a straight copy of that.
It's funny, right? And then there's penguins. You can play penguin warriors, which is kind of cool. I mean, I've never seen the whole thing.
It is really appealing if you like games like Zelda.
Yeah.
The art style, I think it's very calculated to appeal to a video gamer who likes that sort of style.
Yeah, yeah. And then they also throw in what in the article I read said nerdy elements, elemental system with 8 elements network that interacts like a JRPG.
Yep.
Fire beats ice, thunder beats water, such and such, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And then here's what you're going to like. I knew you would like this. I like it too. It uses 12-sided. So Twilight Sword it's using an original system called CAT. That's a number 2 that you
created at Twilight. Yeah. I love it.
And everything's resolved by rolling a single D12. So when you roll a D12, what you're trying to do is score your target number or less, which is usually your attribute. So if you have an attribute of say 8 and you're making a roll for that, you have to roll under 8, I would assume. Right. It's either 8 or under 8. And then over here is all the different stats and stuff that you have. I have on the screen. There's strength, agility, will, dex, perception, knowledge, charisma, and stealth, which is interesting. The stealth is a style. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but that's fine. Equal to. Okay. Equal to their ability score or lower. So I'm wondering if you have a 12 in something, does that mean you can't fail?
Equal or lower. Yeah. I mean, there must be an auto fail, like maybe a 1 or something, but
right. Or maybe you can't get to 12. Maybe your highest stat's at 10. I don't know. I don't have the game, so it's not out yet. But anyway, so it's on BackerKit right now, and it has. I just checked it today. It has surpassed $550,000. So
all right, well, so
it's definitely going to get made.
Smart. Aim at the large audience. Very smart.
Yeah. So it looks good. I mean, if I saw it at a convention, I would play it. I don't know if I'd buy it, but I'd play it.
Maybe.
And maybe if I liked it, I'd buy it. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so check it out on BackerKit.
It says here, hold on. Scott's told us to read more carefully. He says, if you roll a 12, it is a critical failure. So, there is an automatic. Okay. Because 1's the best and 12's the worst. So.
I guess I could have read that like right on the screen in the picture that I put up, right?
Yeah, you're busy talking. What are you supposed to read and talk? I don't
read and talk, right? Am I supposed to read my notes that I took? I don't know.
No.
All right. Anyway, Scott. Thanks, Scott. Okay. Next story.
All right. I love this. So now we have a couple of nerd treasures on the block at Christie's. Christie's Auctions is famous for being the place that you spend the most money on an auction. If somebody wants to sell a piece of the True Cross and several aliens that they found on the moon, this is where they would put them.
Right.
So the first thing we have on the screen here is a desk, and it's a beautiful desk, and it's got a little writing surface that raises up in the middle, almost like a drafting table. Also, I think it's reminiscent of the writing tables of the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries that people used to have. I have one of those that was owned by Thomas Jefferson. No, I don't. It's the same. It's based on one that was owned by Thomas Jefferson. So it's a beautiful desk. But why is this desk guided to go for as much as £80,000? It's because this is the desk that J.R.R. Tolkien owned when he was the Merton Professor of English Language and Literature at Oxford. And this is where he sat and wrote most of his books, including, of course, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So this is the desk where The Lord of the Rings was written.
You could sit at this desk and write and know that you're writing on top of the essence of The Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
That's just nuts.
It'd take all the pressure off because you're never going to write anything as good as that. So you might as well not worry about it and just write your horrible Twilight fan fiction and have a good time.
You know what? If I had the money, I could buy this and write Lord of the Rings fan fiction.
I just want to know how bad the fan fiction that Elon Musk writes is going to be when he buys this. Because he's going to want this.
Oh my God, he might. That's right. I forgot. He's a huge D&D nerd, isn't he?
Well, he thinks he is. Yes. He thinks he's a nerd. But I could definitely see somebody like him buying this. But 80,000 pounds is a lot of money to you or me. Right. But you don't have to be a billionaire for that to be money you would splurge on. So I hope somebody like Peter Atkinson buys it.
That would be cool. Yeah.
He could actually write something good on it. So that's the first of the two nerd treasures. But if you thought 80,000 pounds was a lot, just wait, because the other thing that is going up for sale, if you're a Warhammer fan, and if you're looking at the screen right now, you're going to recognize this art. This art is called Harry the Hammer. Next clue, it's by the artist John Blanche. And if you're a Warhammer fan, you don't need to know any more than that. You're going to know this is the original cover artwork for the first edition of Warhammer. They came out in, I believe it's 1983. So this is a ink and gouache thing. So gouache is a water-based paint. I don't really know a lot about how to explain all of this. I'm not an artist, so I can't explain what's done. But it says here, this is ink and gouache on Daler line and wash board, which is a cold-pressed watercolor board. And this painting, before I say the price that this is guided to go for, we've seen artwork for Dungeons and Dragons that's very rare. And I think I've heard people say that some of the artwork for Dungeons and Dragons is worth as much as $50,000 for one of the paintings. That's high. I mean, maybe even $100,000. This is guided to go up to 400,000 pounds, which is over $500,000.
I don't understand. So that was what was confusing. I was putting the story together, putting the notes together for it. And I saw that I'm looking at J.R.R. Tolkien's writing desk. Yeah. Upwards of 80,000. And then I see Harry the Hammer at upwards of 400,000. I'm like, I don't understand. To me, the desk is worth way more than this painting. Nothing on the painting. I mean, I'm fine with art being whatever price or whatever, but that desk, if you gave me a choice between these two, it would be the desk.
Sure.
Anytime.
I don't know. I can speculate. Part of my speculation is that art is more fungible. It's more collectible. It's easier to turn around and sell a painting afterwards.
Okay.
Something as big and bulky and heavy as a desk, it's not so simple. You've got to decide, where in my giant mansion am I going to put this desk? Am I going to make a display? Am I going to make a little museum out of it? What am I going to do with it? And then what happens when, I die and it gets passed on? Do my kids want this thing? Whereas a painting, you can always say this, it's easy to understand how art gets sold.
Yeah.
So that's,
I don't know.
That's my speculation. Anyway.
It's just, I just saw that and I was like, I can't believe this is worth more than that, but it is. I mean, what do I know?
I think the other thing is that right now, at this particular moment in time, somebody who is of the age to have been a Warhammer player back at the beginning is at sort of the prime earning of their life.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
So they're spending a lot of money. Somebody who's that big of a Tolkien fan, I think, might be older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. Outside of Peter Jackson, I don't know who would be the prime, suspect for that. So
I could see Peter Jackson buying that desk.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's cool. It's Christie's. I mean, that's just wild.
Yeah. So in fact, if you buy this painting and it does, now a guide price is just an estimate. Who knows what'll really happen. Sometimes they don't reach the guide price. Sometimes they go way over it. But if you spend $500,000 on this painting, you're also going to have to pay for Christie's for their amount, which is going to throw another at least 100 grand on it. And then you're going to have to pay for all of the shipping and everything else. So and insurance, you're going to be talking about 700-800 grand by the time you get this thing home.
So hold on, I didn't know that. So when you bid on something at an auction, you have to pay the auction fee.
Yes.
It's not the seller.
Yes. In a case like Christie's, it really, there's all these different ways to do an auction. You could have the seller absorb the fees. You could have the buyer absorb the fees. You could do any number of different ways of bidding. I believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that with Christie's, there is a buyer's premium that's placed on top of it. I know it's that way at a lot of the top end automotive auctions. So I would assume that it's the same thing here.
Damn, I got to write Christie's into a top secret mission, because they would definitely be a contestant for a top secret mission aspect. Not that being the end of the mission, but that being part of it. I could totally see it.
Yeah. Maybe somebody's using them as a front.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right. Well, enough of that. I ran across this story and I thought this was pretty cool. How to dungeon master parenting.
Ooh,
so
cool.
It basically what it is, the book where the writer Shelley,
Mazanoble.
Mazanoble. Oh, good, thank you. You said, yeah, okay. I was like, oh my god, can I read that? All right, so Shelley Mazanoble has taken a kind of a tongue-in-cheek approach to being a parent, and written this book basically comparing, being a taking the dungeon master approach as a parent. Like, how do you dungeon master your kids and your home life? And so I thought that was pretty cool, because I'll tell you, in my life, I've talked to people about this many times. I came to the realization one day that a good chunk of the skills that I have, while they may or may not have come from gaming, they were definitely enhanced. And some of them may have kind of come from gaming, because when you're running a campaign, you have to plan ahead for your players. So it teaches you to think ahead and plan ahead. Your math gets better, your history gets better, your vocabulary goes through the roof. So there's all these skills I got from it. And when I was looking at the notes from this, because I haven't read the book personally, but when I was looking at the review of it, a lot of stuff they were saying, I was like, yeah, maybe I got some of my parenting skills from being a dungeon master. Who knows, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I know I got a lot of my skills in the workplace from being a dungeon master.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, why not? And I feel that when I'm running workshops and stuff for middle-aged executives, I'm basically dealing with kindergarten children. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, right.
It's pretty same thing. I don't know who Shelley Mazanoble is. Looks like a big nerd to me. She's got cool nerdy jewelry on and looks like a smart person. So probably I believe her. It looks fun. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I actually think that it's a thing I'd read anyway.
Yeah. It says it covers topics ranging from starting equipment and building a support team, your adventuring team, to ability scored checks for common parenting encounters, like a dex check for holding a cranky baby, which I can tell you, absolutely. And also how to gently and discreetly steer kids and players towards better decisions.
Because you don't want your kids feeling railroaded, but you do have a plot in mind.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Although if you're building your adventuring party, don't have 3 extra kids just so you can get a cleric.
Right. Yeah, right. Oh God, you better hope you don't have any assassins, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
just as long as you don't get a bard.
Right. Oh God. Well, that wouldn't be too bad. What's wrong with bard?
Yeah. Okay.
The D&D. Oh, I know where you're going with that. Yeah, I don't want that. The D&D angle is not a lazy gimmick, but is well integrated, drawing parallels between the improvisational prep work and self-doubt common to both dungeon mastering and parenting. Absolutely. Because my wife and I, for the first couple of years that our kid was birthday came along, every year on her birthday, we'd go, whew, God, we should, we're celebrating because we haven't accidentally killed her yet.
Right.
It doesn't come with a manual or anything. And we're just so happy that she survived us. You know what I mean? No, I mean, we did a good job, but you know what I mean? You always feel like you're failing.
You know what else is, you have friends, they have a baby, you want to get them something as a gift. They're nerds. Boom. Here you go. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah. And then the reviewer said the book is this is the quote, the book is highly recommended as a great gift for any D&D player who is a new or expectant parent, with a final rating of A. So this got the reviewer I was reading gave it an A.
I love it. I love it.
So
we are about to wrap up. We'll remind everybody that next week we will have Kay on. He's going to be talking about Gamers Online. Apologies that we weren't able to get him on this week. I think it was kind of half my fault for not getting him the link fast enough, but he ended up getting sick, and so that happens. We're sorry. But it'll be a very fun show. And mostly what we want to ask of everybody, of course, we always say, please like and subscribe. But mostly what we really want, if you can help us out, go to Kickstarter, search for the Tradecraft Manual, and please share it with people. The more people that we can have following it before it starts, the more Kickstarter will promote it when we do launch it, the better it'll do. We will try to come up with something that maybe some early, if you're one of the first backers, we'll try to throw a little something in there. Maybe Scott will come to your house personally and run a game for you. But that's okay, Scott. We can commit you to maybe the first 100. Is that fair?
You can run 100 games, right?
Yeah. So the first 100 people, Scott will personally come to your house and he will cook you a beautiful meal. None of this is going to happen. No.
None of it's going to happen.
None of that's going to happen. But we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something fun for the first backers.
Right.
So please look for the Tradecraft Manual on Kickstarter. Follow it and please share with a friend.
Right. It's going to be a good one. I mean, like Jason said, how many pages did you say it's looking like? 3?
It's well over 300 at this point. I'm going to try to cut to use a smaller type. So we'll see what happens, because I want to keep this book affordable for people. I don't want this to be $100 book.
Right.
I want to keep this down in the $40 range. So we can't let it get too crazy out of control, but we got to put all the good stuff in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight, and we'll see Patreon folks in the Discord.
Yeah, we'll be over in the Discord in just a moment. Have a good